Well, here we are in the vintage aviation section. It's kind of interesting. This area over here is a lot lighter. Okay, this is the second day, but I thought more people would have come in. And this is where they have vintage aircraft. And I'm a member of the Vintage Aircraft Association, but I wonder, I have a 1929 design Great Lakes biplane, but it was built in 2022. So is it vintage or not? I don't know if they'd let me park here, but the International Aerobatic Club, which I'm also a member of, would let me park at their place right out in front, which is maybe more convenient. But this always brings in a lot of the old aircraft here, and people camp by, which is really cool. These are the type of aircraft that they'd have football games in Iowa City, and people would fly in from all over the place in a lot of these really classic aircraft, because back then they weren't quite so classic. They were more normal airplanes, and people would go to see the football game, and I'd have my folks take me out to the airport so I could look at all the airplanes. And we had quite a bit of rain today. The ground is rather soggy, and you see the airplanes, a lot of them are covered with tarps and stuff, because we had some pretty good rain here. This is supposedly the only day we're going to have rain, and the weather this time should be very good. But you know, we'll see. Things always pop up, but the weather forecast from the week looks really nice. Temperatures will not be oppressive, because all the decades I've been coming here, it'll go from super hot to even cool, horrible thunderstorms, stuff like that, which makes me not too excited about having a fabric airplane out here as it is. But one thing that's interesting, I noticed a lot of people when we were going around, there's a lot of 310s here and stuff like that. So I could fly my 310 in, but I think seeing a lot of the traffic flows, I am not quite as brave on flying the 310 in as I might have been in years past. But it looks like you have to be a Stinson to get in this row here. And oh, Staggerwings, look at those beautiful beach Staggerwings. They're in the row behind here. Let's go over and take a look at that. That is from an old era of one of the really classic aircraft, the beach Staggerwing. Just absolutely beautiful. And look at those. And the nice thing is, these aircraft have been beautifully restored, maintained. And the air show is going on, by the way. With the you can probably see the clouds there. With the you know, rain came in, we've got some low clouds, so it's kind of limited to a certain extent, the air show. It's they were calling it marginal VFR. And here we're getting back with the more classic Cubs, and this one here is a beautiful airplane, and it's got that nice landing gear like I do on my Great Lakes that will forgive a lot of issues. Nice wide spread, and it's got the Ranger engine. Yes, a Fairchild 24. Just checking to make sure that I have my facts right with that beautiful inverted Ranger engine. And of course, Stearmans all over the place. We're not quite in the Stearman area. And one of the World War II trainers, PT 19. I thought one time about buying one of these. Buck Hilbert, who was a United pilot and passed away, a director with the AA, very knowledgeable about antique aircraft. I thought about getting one of these, but the wood spar, $25,000 to redo it, and that was back probably 20 years ago. But a neat flying airplane, handles nicely. It's got, again, a Ranger engine, but he said it was basically with that wooden spar here, which of course you can't see because it's under the fabric. He said it was basically a bunch of termites holding hands, and although he was a really good antique guy, he wasn't that excited about getting into, for me, getting into this sort of aircraft. P-51's taking off. Just love the sound of those engines. Yeah, even though he was a big antique guy, he wasn't that excited because they said, well, he owned a fleet, and he goes, he was telling me all the ways you can really screw that up if you don't operate it correctly. Let's put it that way. It's interesting. There's a guy with a T-33 parked on the grass. I wouldn't have thought you could do that very well, but I guess the sod here is probably pretty firm, and it's not really much of an issue, but that one's quite pretty. And of course, Vintage has a very nice red barn facility here on the flight line if you've been to Oshkosh before. Staggerwings again. Vintage Cafe, and just the number of aircraft that are here is just absolutely amazing. And what's amazing is to be up here a few days after this is gone, the air show's over, Air Venture is over, and just everything is gone. Absolutely amazing. It's kind of interesting, some of the old concrete here from obviously old runways, taxiways, or whatever that are around. Oh yeah, 195s up here. I didn't see a big row of 195s. That's interesting. Oh yeah, one of the original 310s there. Alrighty. Yes, now it's really going to get noisy. Right, this, as you can probably tell from the tail, is a Breezy. And you can probably tell just by looking at it, it might be a bit breezy. And yes, I have flown one of these once. And as far as I'm concerned, once is enough. Oh, look at that nice instrumentation in the floor. And the control wheel. Yeah, it's a little bit interesting of an airplane to fly. And, you know, I like my open cockpit Great Lakes, but this is a little too open cockpit for me. And of course, the one I flew, the guy restored it, got the ailerons connected up backwards. I guess you would say he didn't do a good control check before takeoff on the post restoration flight. They were wired backwards, and of course, it rolled the wrong way, so you put in more stick to correct it, and that doesn't work, and he unfortunately crashed and killed himself.